hanging over you or on you. So please, people out there listening, do your release work. It's very, very important. Next question is, what is the mind pattern? What mind pattern does a person have who attracts getting shot with a gun? Well, that's another big question, and of course, it would have to be specific to the individual, and that was not mentioned here in this question. But generally speaking, when you either dream or physically have a person get shot with a gun, it represents being hurt sexually and verbally, because guns are a phallic symbol, but bullets represent harsh words that are shot against you to hurt you. So whoever has this experience obviously has some self-worth issues, self-punishment, self-destruction issues that are involving sexual hurt and verbal abuse. So again, need to work on that, especially the self-sabotage, self-punishment. There's also a question here which they said was the most important question of all, and that is, what is Stewart's middle name? What does the A stand for in Stewart A. Swerdlow? Well, it stands for Alan, A-L-A-N. So yes, my initials are SAS, just like the Scandinavian Airlines and just like the British secret military organization. So I have a very interesting name. And of course, if you drop the A, it's an SS, and that has German Nazi connotation, so I like to leave the A in. So moving right along, we'll go to the next questions here. And these are a little bit more complicated, this particular one, and let me read this. This person wrote in that they did a visualization of stepping off the staircase, the green spiral staircase, and they were deep underground. To my surprise, I saw the sun. Next, my attention was drawn to a pool of viscous liquid and semi-solid remains of an infant. I was horrified. I have since learned from a radio interview you did on Red Ice Creation some years ago that these two images are reptilian representation of God mind and infant sacrifice. This frightened me. How do I work with this information? Well, very interesting. Yes, it does represent the things that you mentioned. I would suggest that you read the ritual deprogramming techniques in True Reality of Sexuality, because this is apropos to that type of image that you received. Also, when you get these images ever again, you should immediately flush yourself with violet and use the brown merger symbol at your pineal gland and send all of it up into your oversoul immediately. Use the silver infinity over your crown chakra. Don't hold on to it. Remember that if you're doing the green spiral staircase, it's the mental time travel, as I mentioned earlier, and it's showing you something that is connected to your life right now, and that's why this image came up. Otherwise, it would have remained buried. So there's something in your life now. Maybe you're being triggered ritualistically, programming-wise, and you need to do your deprogramming work in order to diffuse this. The next question was about not relying on synthetic thyroid prescriptions for a diagnosis of hypothyroidism, and using kelp and other nutritional supplements, as well as color work, hyperspace work, in order to get the thyroid repaired. And of course, this person had a large issue with stress, which was a factor. Their father died recently of an undiagnosed illness. Now this person is experiencing anxiety nearing panic, ringing in the ear, waking with puffy eyes, and often feeling lethargy and sluggishness, which, by the way, are all signs of a thyroid issue. Also, they can be signs of a nervous disorder, so there's many different things that could be going on here. There's also, she's doing work on the recovery of childhood trauma, and that had fear and panic involved that this person's been carrying for over 50 years. And so she's been healing with that, but she's concerned that she may be missing some other health issue that needs her support. And can you clarify the distinctions for me? I believe I'm on the right path, but I get frightened because I no longer am simply relying on the medical model to tell me what to do. I have taken steps for greater responsibility for wellness, but can't always know what my body is needing. And that's, a very good point, because a lot of people who have relied for so many years on the medical conventional system, and then they go to alternative hyperspace work, there's a comfort zone that's breached, and the boundaries are breached because people get nervous. Oh, my God, I'm not on my medication anymore. I'm not seeing my doctor. What's going to happen to me? And the doctors would like you to be scared. They'd like you to think, well, if you don't do what we tell you, you're going to have all these problems. You're going to die and God knows what. So, I understand all of that. But you know what? It actually can be a good sign that all of this comes up in the beginning, because it means the body is starting to purge of whatever it is that's wrong with it. And as you know, when you clean a dirty pot, the first thing that comes up is all the junk. And as you know from my newsletter the other day, when the sink gets clogged up, and all the junk comes up, and everything looks pretty horrible and clogged up. Well, the same thing with body parts, even like with the thyroid. So things are going to come up, symptoms are going to arise, and yes, they're uncomfortable, but that just means you're in the process of working through them. I do suggest that you should be taking kelp, both in capsule form and even maybe using the dried sea vegetables in your salads and soups on a daily basis. You should be taking the equivalent of 1 teaspoon, I should say between a teaspoon and a tablespoon of organic sea salt, and I do prefer either the French or Celtic versions in your diet every single day. And also taking the thyroid glandulars, which I do like the brand of Standard Process that has a very high quality. So between all of that, the kelp, sea salt, thyroid glandulars, the sea vegetables, putting the ice blue back in the thyroid area, and of course your release work and sending everything up to Overzole, that is really what you should be working on. Of course, if one thing you should be doing is taking your body temperature every day. If your body temperature is really low, then that can be a sign of weak thyroid, and you might want to increase whatever it is you're doing. So I do recommend that. I also recommend taking saliva strip tests for THS and T3, T4 hormones, and that will tell you on a daily basis what the levels are in your body, and then you will know what it is that you need to adjust or increase. They do have homeopathic thyroid formulas that you can take in addition to everything I mentioned to boost the function of the thyroid. But bottom line is, whenever we have an issue in the throat area, because you're suppressing things that you need to say, you're not speaking up for yourself in a tactful and honest manner, and you need to express completely. Use the color maroon around the ice blue so that you can courageously say whatever it is that you need to say. Okay? So I'm going to move along now to the next series of questions. And these questions, they're a little bit interesting, so let me read them to you. First one is, looking at the templates in the Healer's Handbook, some are indicated with more than one color code. How should more than one color for one template be interpreted, and when or how should the different colors for one template be used? Well, first of all, in the Healer's Handbook, those templates are specifically designed for either use under your pillow or especially in a radionics machine. So when you use them in a radionics machine, you would have color filters that you would then place in layers over the template so that those frequencies would be transmitted in the vibrations. You can also use them mentally and layer them around you. You can use the color filters under your pillow as well. Basically, the colors are part of the formula for whatever it is in that template that you're trying to achieve. Next question in the Healer's Handbook. Both the templates and the alphabet for name analysis sometimes have more than one meaning for one template or letter. How should that be interpreted, and when or how should it be used? Well, I did think I explained it in the chapter on name analysis in the Healer's Handbook, but I'll just say it here briefly, is that, for example, most of the letters have 3 different meanings, and I have them in a specific order. So if your name has a letter more than one time, then the first time you see the letter, you use the first meaning. The second time you see the letter in the name, you use the second meaning, and so on and so on. And then when you get to the fourth, if you have the letter 4 times, then you go back to the first meaning. It just goes back into that cycle. So that's how you would use that for name analysis. Next thing it says here, many people say we need to control our thoughts, and at the same time, many people say we are not our thoughts. Are both statements true, and if so, how so? Well, that could get a little bit complicated here. Basically, you are a soul personality. Your soul personality is a collection of thought bands and experiences. So in effect, you are thought. You are a thought in the mind of God mind. So you can add or subtract any of them as you see fit. And, of course, doing release work, affirmations, deprogramming, all of these things will change the thought bands and change you, because your thoughts will create you physically and energetically, and also your experiences. So yes, you do need to, I shouldn't say so much to control the thoughts as to monitor them and decide which ones do I want to keep and which ones do I want to change or remove. That has to be your choice. So yes, you have to be a police person of your own thinking. Next question. If we have had lifelines in much more advanced civilizations and beyond, even in the non-physical, what are we doing on Earth? Well, that's a good question, and it depends on each one individually, because every one of you has a different reason for being here. And in fact, if you do your interpretation of your name analysis and you do the number codes associated with it, including the birth energy numbers, you will find the reasons why you are here on this earth. You will find your main reasons, secondary reasons, backup reasons. Everyone is different. But ultimately, we're all here to overcome and surpass mind patterns, experiences, and to upgrade ourselves into ways that we want to improve and uplift to higher level of consciousness and thinking. We're not here accidentally. We're here, and we're not here as a punishment. We're here to learn. It's a school. It's a rough school, and we need to get through it well and graduate and then move on to something a little more appropriate.